Hello everyone, Proxy Table Gaming PTG, I am Hyper G, I'm with the Lucky Sixes, who's just taken a sip of beer. That was his intro.
I'm ready.
Yes, you were exactly ready at the very moment you needed to be. Cool, we've got a job to do today, Lucky Sixes.
Yes, very exciting. What a week.
Well, yeah, and it's only going to get better. Because this is Dread Elf time.
Yep.
Bum bum bum.
And all being well, the book comes out tomorrow.
Yes, I mean,
exciting.
All being well indeed. We have no control over whether all is well.
we don't know what's happened in the world.
No, we don't know how much that is going to happen. So
should be though.
Should be. Fingers crossed. That's what we've been told at that point of recording.
Optimism. Let's have optimism. Absolutely. Optimism in the chat. There is no chat.
Not in this one, but there can be comments.
Yes.
And you can chat to yourself while you're watching, or whoever you're watching it with. There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Let's all say optimism together. Optimism.
Optimism. Sorry, I was a bit slow.
That's all right. I sprung that on you. It's my fault.
Yeah, that wasn't rehearsed at all. It wasn't in the script. Those scripts.
Our usual script.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mine's just got swear words on it.
Well, that is the script actually. But anyway, so yes, we have been very privileged to be given a assigned role to bring to you a certain part of the Dread Elf release. Won't call it book because there's lots of different parts of the Dread Elves coming out.
So we're one of about 12 community engagement staff members, if that's what we are,
something like that,
to actually do it.
So
shout out to all those other guys. Whoop whoop.
Definitely. And before we tell you what our assigned role is, which is what this video is, shall we just very quickly...
You'll already know if you've seen the title, so don't look at the title yet.
They will know, won't they? That ruins my surprise.
It's why they've clicked the...
Probably. Okay.
To be honest. But no, carry on.
Fine.
Intrigue.
We'll pretend that didn't happen, then there's no surprise at all. So I'm going to run through what everyone else has been releasing. And also the name of the social media outlet where you can find it. I don't know if we'll have links to them all. That might not be possible.
Could try. We'll try.
We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try.
Because it's all about community and sharing and promoting one another.
So if you haven't checked out these guys yet, check them out.
Absolutely. After you've watched every single one of our videos, check them out.
Of course.
Yeah. According to the list that we have been sent, so again, subject to change.
Optimism.
I guess. Optimism, yeah. You will have already possibly seen the background supplement video, which is released by Time Podcast.
You'll have heard that one.
What's that?
You'll have heard it. It's a podcast.
All right, let's not get finicky. Come on.
No, carry on. Optimism.
They can watch the screen while it's playing. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Yeah, exactly. They will also have seen the Army-wide Special Rules release by Skaven AZ. That's channel. And a battle report by Watch These Dice. You'll have also seen a special section review by the Thundercock. You'll have heard a special section review by the Thundercock podcast.
And it's a good job you can't see Jack.
Absolutely. And you'll have also heard the review of the Menagerie section and mounts from Paired Weapons podcast.
Oh, it has to be said in a French accent.
How does it? What?
The Menagerie. Well, I suppose that's not French, that's just posh. But yeah.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
Menagerie.
Okay. Yeah.
Menagerie. Well, Sean Connery. Menagerie.
Are you done? I'm halfway through. We're not going to get onto our video at this rate.
Menagerie.
The core section review is by Madgit Radio podcast. And the Raiders section is by Evershade Gaming on YouTube. Character section by a very little podcast. We don't really know them all that well. Fantasy Wargaming podcast. Have you heard of them?
Wargaming podcast fantasy.
Not heard of them before, have you?
Don't think
Paul,
so.
Tony, no? Ring any bells?
Who?
No. Chumps, I'm sure Tony would call them. Anyway, and a second battle report by Just Flow. Then there's a magic item section by Warghammer. Magic item section. Interesting that they've entitled it that. I'm not sure they're really called magic items anymore, but we'll gloss over that. And that is supposed to be the same day as this.
Today, yeah.
R1. So, optimism.
Optimism. Check it out.
Yeah, and R1 is literally the day before the release. So this is the one where the hype is at the max, isn't it?
You want to calm down, everyone. It's coming.
Yes. And what is our video? Now you can look at the title. Lucky Sixes, tell them what our video is.
List building!
Yeah.
Well, lists.
Yeah, not so
lists.
much building. We've already built them.
We've built the lists.
It's not interactive.
Yeah, this is sort of like, so normally we do a 3-part series anyway.
We do.
For this time, we're going to still do that, but we've just had a little tinker around. We've
Tinker.
put the lists first. After you guys, you lucky people, have already heard or seen most of the details anyway, just not in one whole book format. We're going to do a lists on what we liked. Probably not strong. Who cares? But it's what we liked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then we might talk about what we didn't pick a little bit in the what other options there are.
Why they didn't jump out to us, maybe. It's all part of the unscripted script. So who knows what we're going to say? We don't know.
I've never known.
Yeah. So in terms of the lists making sense, we're going to talk a little bit about the rules behind the models, the units we've chosen, because obviously it needs to make sense as to why we've chosen things.
Yeah.
But our actual book review will actually only be a day away because the release should be happening the day after this.
Boy.
So you don't actually have to wait long at all for the actual army book review that we normally would do. So, is that enough of an intro, Lucky Sixes?
Absolutely.
We've covered everything.
It's too much.
Okay.
Start again.
All right. Well, I'll cut out everything that you said, and then it'll still make sense. Cool. So let's talk about IPG's list.
Yeah.
The best list. This is the list that you're going to see at all the top tables in the future.
Yeah.
It is.
The list people are going to be moaning about.
Yeah, they are. They're going to say, this was so broken. I can't believe they've let it stand for 4 years in a row. Won every tournament. I can't believe IPG was such a genius to pick it out right from the start. It's amazing.
What you got then, bro?
So, I have gone with, as general, a Beastmaster. Which is a little bit weird for me, because I don't tend to be all that monstery.
Yeah, right.
But I am in this one. So deal with it.
Deal with it.
So yeah, you'll have already seen character section review, hopefully, from that very little podcast. And the Beastmaster stuck out to me as being pretty cool because I just like the idea of a whole horde of beasts, which you'll see from the rest of the list. And he's got rules that enable him to boost beasts and to... I think...
which is Willbreaker's Craft.
Yes, absolutely. Willbreaker's Craft is what it's called. It's basically the old special item combined into his rules. It used to be a Beastmaster's Lash in the old book, and now he's basically got them as part of his models.
Got it for free.
Well, which free, is sort of... Well, he's a new character, really, so it's hard to compare his points cost to an old version, because he's not really in the old book. But yeah, on top of that, I've also given him the new special item that goes with him, which is a Beastmaster's Whistle, which basically means that he has a lot of control over the monsters around him. Anything that's gigantic, they can maximize.
It's all 12 inches, isn't it? All the rules are 12 inches within him. So if your monsters are 12 inches close to him, they benefit from all these things.
Yeah, like maximize stomp, minimize the opponent's stomp, all that sort of stuff.
So maximize, minimize, and then minimize your... Is it discipline?
Discipline tests, yeah.
Tests as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he's got control over monsters, basically, kind of how it works. And then I've also given him a weapon, the Pride of Gardeakos, which goes on his halberd, which I think gives him an extra attack. If I'm right.
Yep. Plus one attack and divine.
And divine, which I think is really cool for the price you're paying. Actually,
yeah,
I think it's only like 35 points or something.
35 points exactly. Yeah. So for a halberd as well, so you're already going to have +1 strength, basically giving +1 attacks and divine. Pretty good.
I like it. Yeah.
What does So Blessed Inscriptions is divine and
rerolls to wound.
Reroll to wound.
Yeah.
But obviously that can be on anything as well. So could be on a halberd as well. So it's basically trading rerolls to wound for a 1+ attack.
Yeah.
But it's 30 points less.
Yeah.
I can see that being a good pick.
Yeah, I thought it was quite cheap for divine attacks, which are quite rare these days.
Yeah.
And he's riding a Manticore
he's going to be
as well. So
he's going to be strength 5 with however many attacks. What's he have normally?
4 attacks, I think.
Yeah, normally. So 5 attacks, strength 5. I suppose it doesn't like heavily armored, but if he can get through that armor, he's pretty golden.
A lot of my thinking with him is he's not actually like a proper beefed up fighter. Like he's really more of a commander of the monsters around, and he's got the Manticore to keep up with everything.
Yeah, he's basically like the same sort of stats as a special unit.
Yes.
Champion or something, but
exactly,
with some extra beastie stuff. He's cool. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so he's pulling the strings, very much literally. And the pride of Gardakos means he can fight if he needs to as well. So.
Yeah.
I followed it up with 2 of the same character option, which is Temple Legates, one of which is a BSB. Basically,
which are wizards.
They are wizards
of sorts,
limited to Wizard Adept as their maximum. There's a different kind of wizard, which I won't talk about now, because it might appear in a second list, who can go Wizard Master. But I chose 2 of the Wizard Adept options because for free, 0 points, they each must choose one of 2 options, which is also limits their choice of magic path as well. But it's not really a limit because they come along with some really cool rules as well. So the first one, the BSB, has got something called Battle Oracle, because the other wizard isn't called an Oracle anymore, obviously. Whereas that used to be what they were called. And the Battle Oracle means that anyone in base contact with them gets a -1 to hit versus any model wielding Blades of Darak. Which obviously I'm saying she, but gender
it could be both,
could be either.
Could be neither.
Could be neither, or both. Yes, it gives -1 to hit against anyone wielding Blades of Darak.
Absolutely.
And that means also you have to choose Divination as your Wizard Adept path.
She identifies as a Battle Oracle.
Yes, she does. She does. I'm definitely calling her she anyway. I mean, it was a Freudian slip anyway. So for me, she is a she. But
all dark elves are she's to you.
To me, you know this. You've seen our army chat. You know this.
Anyway, carry on.
The other one is a Warsmith who is still a she, despite being Mr. Smith. And the Warsmith is a similar rule in that it affects models in base contact. Basically, anything in base contact with armor 4 or better, so 3 up or better, they must re-roll their armor save versus Blades of Darak. So again, it's linked to the blades. Very important synergy with that.
Blades of Darak don't offer any extra AP, do they?
They do not. No, they do not.
They're just a form of paired weapon.
A form of paired weapon, but not actually paired weapons. They're just +1 attack and magical attacks. They're not extra offensive skill. Yes,
but you trade that for re-rolling.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
especially
and the Blades of Darak also have a special rule where anything that gets cast on their unit gives them +1 strength as well. So you can get a lot of synergy with the Blades of Darak, and that's kind of what I've gone with. Interestingly, that synergy, that +1 strength, is also if your opponent casts a spell that lasts for a certain time on them. So it's not only you that has to buff them; your opponent can hex them, and by incidentally give you +1 strength.
Yeah,
which I think is kind of cool. At least that's the way I've interpreted it. Hey, it's a new book.
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, she has alchemy by taking the Warsmith rule as well. So I've got alchemy and divination, 2 adepts basically.
So
four
they
spells
can't be
combined.
masters, those ones.
No, they cannot. No.
You can't choose to be masters, and they can't join temple militants, which might come up later, that contain other temple legates.
Indeed.
So they have to be in different units.
Yes, they do indeed. So yes, you can't Death Star both Battle Oracle and Warsmith on the same unit, basically. Only if they're in temple militants, though. I guess they can both go into a unit of non-temple militants, could they?
Yeah, I'd say it doesn't.
No
doesn't say otherwise.
But
professional
both their rules,
courtesy is the rule.
Yeah, but both their rules are linked to the Blades of Darag, and only the temple militants have the Blades of Darag, I believe.
Yeah.
In terms of an infantry unit, anyway. So
yeah.
It makes sense for them to go with it, and as you'll see further down the list, I have a couple of units of them.
But they're pretty even though they're wizards, they're meant for combat. These guys.
Yeah, they've actually both got an Aegis 4 up in melee in combat as well.
So they've got heavy armor as well. So they come with that basic. You've got 3 attacks, strength for battle focus.
Yep.
It's all there, mate. It's all there.
Yeah.
So they're good to go. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that is my character section basically. Doesn't fill the character section by any means. It's only about 1,000 points. So there's plenty more scope to go to change that as well.
Alchemy Div as well is quite nice.
Quite
Opposites.
a nice combo. I mean, actually, by complete fluke, Alchemy Div is the way I'm playing my Saurians at the moment.
All right, there we go.
So
they're
both.
Yeah, I mean, obviously only adepts, and you can't do the Saurian bullshizzle.
No,
that means you can get 5 and 6 on adepts. But
don't know what you're talking about. I don't want portent anyway.
No, exactly. But yeah, so that'd be interesting to see that.
Yeah, it'd be very cool.
As a tool, you should be able to count a lot of things.
Yeah,
but not heavily, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they won't be +1 to cast either. Although, the other wizard does have a rule that affects casting and dispelling, but we won't go into that. These ones don't. So yeah. Moving into core, then a unit which I think you're going to see a fair amount is the 10 raiding party, which is the minimum amount you can choose for that unit. Yeah. Along with they have a choice of 2 different rules: Corsair rule or Beast Breakers. Corsairs you have to pay for. And we won't go into what that gives because I haven't chosen them. I don't think you have either.
Yeah, but neither of us actually.
We'll perhaps come back to that later.
Yeah.
But Beast Breakers basically means that a unit within 8 inches or maybe 6 inches.
8
inches. I was right first time. They get devastating charge hatred to models that are harnessed.
But again, you have to choose.
You have to choose that. Yeah.
So it's not everyone with an 8.
No, you select one.
At the start of the turn, you select one. There. But
so you can change it at the start of every turn, though. So
yeah, but devastating charge hatred is pretty nice.
Yeah, but one thing I particularly picked out about these guys is they're not scoring, so they're not actually much use outside of that initial roll. In terms of you can't just take a unit of 10 and expect them to grab an objective if everyone forgets about them.
But yeah, they're not going to do a lot.
No,
they're not going to do a lot. They do have. They can't be stomped, which I imagine is this particular one. The Beast Breakers.
Yeah.
And they have a shield, so they're 5 up armor. But 5 up armor versus 3 is basically dead. So
well, it's dead if anything looks at them.
Yeah,
absolutely. But in theory, they should be standing behind or near to something that's got harnessed, which hopefully can semi-protect them. So
I mean, it fills out core, which is one thing. But yeah, I mean, I really like the rules they have, and you'll see that I've chosen one as well. Spoiler. But I'm not doing anything else apart from that initial thing, and only having to choose one may struggle.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I think people will definitely be interested in trying them out. Whether they'll sustain the interest is another thing.
Yeah, it's just I say it piqued my interest. Our interest, I should say. But whether or not in game it'd be worth it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think if they were scoring, they'd have to be quite a lot more expensive.
Well, they're light troops. They're in. pretty sure there aren't any light troops scoring things. Apart from the centaurs, but then if they become light troops, they don't have scoring. So
sure,
I can't think off the top of my head if there's
well,
any.
If anyone can think of any light troops that are scoring, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carrying on the rest of core, I've got these 2 units of Temple Militants who are the successors to the Blades of Nabt. There are no cults anymore, which you'll no doubt notice from all of the book reviews or the different reviews that you've seen. So, Cult of Nabt is no longer a thing.
There is no cults, is there?
No, exactly. It's kind of been replaced by other rules that are all combined here, right, and everywhere, which is a lot easier to explain with an army list review.
It's a lot simpler. You'll see in our army review actually, it's that like there aren't with sort of like the warriors where you got the gods or the demons where you got all the different gods and options, and there isn't actually that in this.
No,
which actually makes it a lot simpler as a book, especially if you're not playing it. But we'll get into that tomorrow.
and also it's quite easy to see which units have got the old cults as part of their rules, if that makes sense. Like the Cult of Nabt is very much still a feature of the Temple Militants, for example. So I've got 2 units. One of them is maxed out in numbers and has full command, and that's probably where my BSB goes, but I don't need to tell you that now. It could be the other way around.
Big bluff.
And then I've got a smaller unit, which is basically... they have fighting extra rank, the Temple Militants as well, which is kind of cool, which is a new thing. The Blades of Nab didn't have that. Not going to go in massively into the rules of each unit, because the Temple Militants have changed quite a lot.
And again, we'll see it in much more finer detail for you tomorrow. In our book review.
But by having...
They are scoring as well.
Exactly, and having fighting extra rank means I can take 3 ranks of 6, and they can all attack, which is pretty cool. And both of those units have Blades of Darag by default. So
and they're high initiative anyway, aren't they? So
they are
more agility elf, right? So
although interesting that they did used to be agility 6.
Okay.
Well. But they are still pretty quick.
Yeah, fair play.
Absolutely. So they have changed quite a lot, but that'll be a different thing. Anyway, so I love that unit. I can't say I'm massively sold on the name.
Oh, the name sucks.
Thank you. You've said what I
Temple Militants.
I don't like
what do they used to be called?
Blades of Nab
was alright.
The old version in the
game
that we're not supposed to talk about, that you just said anyway, was awesome. I love
sort out your names, boys and girls.
So
I'm not sure I like Temple Legate either.
No, I'm not a fan.
I'm a simpleton though. I'm a simpleton. I don't actually know what Legate means.
It's kind of almost Romanesque theme, but I could be wrong on that as well. But it kind of brings to me that kind of feel. I'm not entirely sold on it, but this isn't a name discussion video, so I guess make your own opinions.
She'll be coming out Sunday. No.
I can't say I'm sold on Temple Militants. They will always be my girls, basically. My sexy elves, so whatever. That's what they're going to be for me. And when I eventually commission a Dread Elf army, because I will be, I won't be painting it myself.
Well, I need to. We got Gubbo.
Well, exactly, yeah. They will be sexy, crazy ladies. So there you go.
All the boys will be after you.
They'll come to you. So yeah, there you go. Into special, and I've gone for the adjudicators, not adjudicators, the judicators. Which is amazing. Maxed out unit because they're still Dread Elves. They're still a 5-up armor with other protection.
What did these guys used to be?
They used
the Dread
to be
Judges?
the Dread Judges. Yes,
that was a terrible name. This is an upgraded name.
Oh, it is, but I'm not sure anything could be worse than Dread Judges.
Judge Dredges.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to find the changes they've got, which obviously we're not going into right now anyway.
Yeah.
But they've now just got straight up great weapons instead of executioner's blades, which means they're strength 5. They don't have multiple wounds against standard anymore, But they're basically your hard hitters.
And
in
these
the
guys
elite.
have hatred as well.
They do have a hatred built
which
in.
isn't a army-wide wall.
No.
Wall.
No, it used to be part of the cult of thing, but now they've just got it as a unit. Which is pretty cool.
They're probably hitting strength 5, so they're wounding a lot.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're just nasty.
Artistry of Death. What's that?
That's the always
+1
get
to
+1
wound.
to wound instead of just in the first round. It's split out the death trance rule. It used to be first round of combat. Then they've upgraded it to the one that these guys have, which is the always have.
So most things have the +1 to wound during first round, but these guys have +1 to wound all the time.
All the time, baby.
They're probably hitting and they're probably wounding.
Yeah, and they're nice.
They're pretty good.
But you got to have 30 because they will go down in a windstorm. So
sure, because at the end of the day, they're still elves. It's
Exactly.
Res 3 with 5 up armor.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've given them a banner of speed so they can get there quicker.
Yeah.
There's the thinking, basically. So yeah. Carrying on into a new unit, the Thunder Pack.
The Thunder Pack.
Yeah, which wasn't at all a thing anymore, so there's nothing to compare them with. They're just beasties, basically. No riders. They're literally just beasts. Harnessed beasts. Which is...
Thunder Beast.
Yeah.
Some would say.
Thunder Beast, exactly. And they're just straight up trying out a new unit, really. There's not a lot you can say about them, really, other than what they are.
Yeah, 40 by 60 mil base.
Yeah. Is that unusual? Yeah, 50 by 75 is the usual one, isn't it?
So it's basically like a base of like for a salamander, but with an extra bit on an extra orc at the back. It's like a salamander and a half.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, can't say that had occurred to me actually, but you're right. Yeah.
So this is an odd, but it comes with the reason is because they have lash masters with the beasts.
Yes.
So like as a unit, as a model, I imagine the front bit is going to be the Thunder Beast, or however you model that, or whatever the background for that is, with the lash masters, trying to whip it and hold it down and stuff. So
much, yeah.
So that'll
the
be
whole
interesting
thing
to see
counts
some
as
of them.
beast, so it has swift stride and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The lash masters are just like literally clinging on to whatever,
dragged along with it. But yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Nothing overly amazing. Got a few impact hits.
No, they are res 5, strength 5 as well. So
Well, and if they charge strength 6, AP 3.
Yes, with impact hits.
Interesting. They have devastating charge terror.
Yeah, scary when they start moving.
So does that mean if they charge, the person has to take a terror test?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So basically, it's terror for the charge.
Yeah.
And on the foot, basically terror when it matters.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, but you won't get it if you didn't charge, so you're still scared of things.
Yeah. You're not fearless.
Yeah, they might run away still. Yeah.
See how that mechanic works, and not too expensive. They've got a lot of res 5, so they're going to stick around.
Yeah, but not much armor though. So
yeah,
they're not built like 5 up armor. I think same as their real thing.
That'd be interesting to see them.
Yeah,
how they come about.
And for me, they work with the beast breakers of the raiding party. So the raiding party is planning on just standing behind them and giving them devastating charge hatred as well. So because they are harnessed, despite the fact that the lash masters are standing behind them.
Yeah.
So that's the thinking. Moving into the divine altar. Well, where do you begin with a divine altar? You can only take one in your army, and they're no longer character mounts anymore.
Yes.
So the only place you can take them is in special. And there's 2 options to take. One costs you 70 points. The other one is free.
Yep.
Process that for a minute. 70 points. Free.
Compared to free. Although when
70
you see the free
points.
You see the free one, you'll know why, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Do you think?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's for everyone else to decide. But I've picked the one that costs 70 points. because it kind of goes with the Temple Militants, and that's where my Divine Altar is going to be. Whether it'll be in the big one or the little one, I haven't really decided yet.
Who knows?
But yeah, Crucible of Sorcerer basically makes the Divine Altar a war platform.
Yeah. It means it can join, whereas the other one doesn't. So
correct. It's a totally different unit. The other one,
yeah, it is.
And
And
they're
very, very different.
That one,
yeah,
because obviously you've got it. So but this one means that during the melee phase, the unit that is joined by the Divine Altar and anything in base contact with them is -1 res.
Yeah.
So your own unit is -1 res.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The Divine Altar
only
is
in
not
melee.
-1
Only
res.
in melee.
Only in
right?
melee. Yeah, only in melee.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And basically, when you're talking Temple Militants, you're talking make them into the res of a skink, basically. They're now res 2, potentially.
Yeah.
It's
mad.
It's a crazy one. It's a real crazy one. And initially, you might think, I'm not paying 70 points for that. And you did think that. But I semi-explained that the idea was that the unit they're with attacks first, benefiting from the enemy being -1 res, kills as many as it can, and then just takes whatever is left to come back. Hopefully nothing.
It will increase their damage output.
Yes.
So it means whatever's coming back at them will struggle more.
Yes.
Is the idea.
But if you mess up and the enemy's attacking first, then it works exactly the same way against you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, make sure you're attacking first, basically. So we'll see if I can manage that feat, especially as we're discussing it in such limelight,
we'll come back to this when we come onto my list as well.
Absolutely. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about, I think.
Absolutely. Divine Altar. It's really cool. Whether it's worth 70 points?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. I'm not sure paying 70 points for that tactical necessity is really right. But hey, they might absolutely wreck face. So
yeah.
Who knows? Moving on into the big beastie section, which is it the Menagerie? Is that?
So I mean, pretty much up to now, you've been like, oh, why have you even got a Beastmaster?
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
This is why.
This is why. This is where they all are. I've basically just taken one of each because hey, this is a list review. Why would I not take one of each?
Why would you not?
To try them out. So
Menagerie.
I'm going to let you say the name of the first one because I always get it wrong.
The French Menagerie.
Not that.
Menagerie.
No, the name of the first model.
Kraken.
Kraken. Yeah, I get told off for calling it Kraken, don't I?
Kraken.
Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
Yeah, that. And I've made him into a colossal Kraken because I can, because my general is a Beastmaster.
Yeah.
There you go. That's fine.
You.
I'm allowed. And it's free. You don't have to pay.
So is that the only way you would be able to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way if you can have a colossal Kraken if you have the Beastmaster General. And I do. So I'm allowed.
And that's awesome. So what does that give you? Because your hard target 1, devastating charge +2.
He's already got that. He's already got that.
Oh. 2 additional handlers and a bigger base.
Yeah. So it's not massive. It is a free upgrade for a reason. But he is bigger and he's scarier. So technically more can attack him, I guess. And more can shoot at him. So maybe it's not even a benefit. But he does get these 2 extra handlers and they add stuff, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, actually. Now that I'm talking about it, maybe it's not all that much of an upgrade.
2 extra strength, 3 AP, 0 elves.
Yeah. Wonder why this is a good thing. Maybe he should be 10 points cheaper for taking this.
Yeah, it should be.
Because I'm just opening myself up to cannonballs with this.
Blimey.
Yeah, but also, the fact that he's a bigger base means my Beastmaster's range can hit him easier.
Yeah,
so I don't have to keep my general quite as near to his centre. Maybe.
We'll
see.
No, that is a positive.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see if that works. I mean, you know. Obviously, it wouldn't cost me any points to remove Colossal Kraken. It's free. So I could still take this very same list and just take a normal Kraken.
Yeah.
No difference. So there's that. And the Kraken is quite similar to how he used to be. So again, we'll save it for the book review, but still the strength 7 nasty that he used to be.
Yeah, multiple wounds,
absolutely.
All that jazz.
Yeah. I've also got a Hydra in because, like I say, one of each. The Hydra has changed so much. I don't even think it's really something we can talk about here, really, because it's changed so much. You'll have already seen it as part of one of the other videos anyway.
Yeah.
But just hang on for our video on the army book, I think. I mean, I could give it a very quick rundown, I guess, of some of the differences, because it wouldn't be fair to leave you completely hanging. It's got 1 less fortitude, an extra HP, less defensive skill than offensive skill, less attacks, better agility, a different breath weapon. It's got poisoned attacks, the Giant's Rage ability. It's gained some handlers, and it's gained a special rule, which means if you roll a 6 on your fortitude save, you get that wound. You save that wound and recover a lost wound. That's why I'm not going into it now, because that's crazy. A lot of changes,
a lot of rules. But it's an interesting idea behind it.
Absolutely. So
4 up armor as well, but and then the last one.
The last one is a Mist Leviathan, and the new model. I'm quite excited about that. I mean, we love the name Leviathan for other reasons, But this guy looks really cool. He's actually quite cheap for a gigantic beast as well. And in a Beastmaster list, gigantic beast is obviously pretty cool to have for obvious synergy reasons. But he's got a really wicked under the cover of mists rule, which I'm not going to read out because we probably will talk about it more in the army book again. But basically it means that all of my infantry units within 8 inches of him at the start of my first turn get a +4 march rate in my first turn. But they cannot shoot. So,
which is good because you haven't got shooting.
providing you're not trying to move a shooting army quicker, and I haven't got any shooting.
Yeah.
My infantry models, so that's my 2 units of Temple Militants, my raiding party, and my Judicators, providing they're within 8 inches of the Mist Leviathan in the start of my first turn, I've got a +4 march rate. Not a +2 advance rate at all. Advance rate is exactly the same. But the march rate is +4.
Yeah, so essentially 14-inch march.
Yeah, it's a way to basically rush the opponent a lot quicker. If you're coming up against something that isn't going to come to you, you got an extra 4 inches to begin the battle. So I
mean, he's not going to do much on his own in terms of combat or anything like that, but it has a really nice buff to your infantry, your slower infantry stuff.
Absolutely.
So 100 by 100 base as well. So that's interesting.
Fairly big.
Is that the same as Great Green Idol?
Yeah, probably.
So that sort of base. But I mean, it'd be a nice centerpiece anyway. But
absolutely, I mean, the Mist Leviathan, get your cotton wool out. Probably not. He is really slow on the ground, but he can fly. That thing as well. So that's quite useful. Yeah. Cool. There's my list. Do you think we've talked about that enough without giving too much away?
I mean, your infantry and monsters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that mix,
with a bit of the thunder pack in, just to see what they do. Really,
you want combat.
Absolutely, it's all combat. There is not a single bit of shooting in this. I don't think, apart from the Hydra's breath weapon. I think I'm pretty much combat and a bit of magic. So, the idea is to get there quickly and wreck face.
Yeah, man.
Cool. So, shall we see your list?
Let's go. Let's go, Idaho.
Here it is.
I'm high elves.
Oh no!
So I wanted something different. And
it would be rather boring if this list was exactly the same as the one I just picked.
And again, between us, wanted to try and get different things.
Yeah.
So normally I'm the monster guy.
You are.
But you won't see a monster in this list, no sirree, Sonny.
No, although I did say to you, I'm not picking a dragon so that you can.
Yeah.
And then what did you do?
Yeah, but the only I couldn't because Beastmaster has a dragon as a general.
Yeah, there's another character
wizard
that can
could
take
have,
a
but
dragon.
don't want a wizard.
You do have a wizard on a dragon. That is your
Yeah, but
thing.
that one can fight.
You don't
Anyway,
fight with it though. You run around all day casting
I
playing
know.
fireballs.
Yeah.
But let's not argue on that. You didn't take your dragon.
I didn't take my dragon, but I did take mounted, which was kind of my theme. I saw, actually, ironically, it wasn't to do with the dragon or anything. It was to do with the Shadow Riders, because I saw them and I think they're really good.
Okay.
I've got a I really like them basically as a unit. And I really like the repeater crossbows, and as they can march and shoot and get in close, the repeater crossbows are better at short range. So that's kind of what I went for. And I'm going to start with the Shadow Riders. Get a little
so
bit
you're
more.
ignoring all your character choices.
Ignore the characters. Let's go straight on this. I've got three units of them.
Of 8, and they count as core because you're taking 8 of them.
Yes, so that's why basically. And obviously really high movement. I want to say 8. Oh, 918. Yeah, exactly. So even better than I thought. Vanguard, light troops, all that, and the repeater crossbows. So on the face of it, it's only 24 repeater crossbow shots. But if you get within short range, and I'm just scrolling up, so I'm just trying to keep talking while I scroll. The repeater crossbows, range 18, shots 1, strength 3, AP 0. Not that much when you do it, but when you get into short range, which these guys with Vanguard in and moving around and stuff should be able to, gains shots 3. So obviously
the amount of damage they can do.
It's potentially 24 goes straight to quick math 72. I want to say 72 shots. So
you're not wrong.
Yeah. Good. I thought it was.
No, I just say silent just to unnerve you.
Yeah, so I really like that, and I want to try that out and see whether it's worth it. The AP Naught is a bit. It is with any shooting, AP Naught is crap, but the sheer volume of it intrigues me.
Yeah,
and I wanted to try that. So really, I started with that, and when and there is I think. So the core is 25%. You can only take 20% of the shooting, the raiders bit, which is they because they've got the crossbows come under. So I had to take something else within that, and one unit of beast. What are they called? Something raiders, raiding party beast breakers was not enough. So I had two.
Sure,
it was as simple as that. I think you can get 3 lots of 9 Shadow Riders in, or at least 2 units of 9 and 1 of 8. But just to cut down core points as much as I could, I put the Beast Breakers as well. And obviously they work with Harnessed. Yeah. So again, my list sort of came up from that. And going down, I needed some Harnessed in if I was going to take these guys, because I didn't like the Corsairs, and as well I think they would also come under the Raiders bit, the shooting cap. So they were the obvious choice if I didn't want a scoring core, which I could have. I think I could have had a base, like a min-sized unit of the normal infantry guys.
But if you did, then you were straying into the academy trained.
Yes.
Ilk,
so
which is something we've both avoided, and we'll probably mention a bit later.
Yeah, as you see from either list, academy training is one of the huge synergy things that they've got, but just didn't interest either of us.
No, neither of us. I wouldn't say didn't interest us, like as in a bad way, but we just picked something else. Simple as that. So,
and I don't know about you, and again we'll talk about it more. I feel like it's something that needs to be worked into your list.
Oh, absolutely.
Like your list has to consider it. It can't just be a throw-in thing. But
it wouldn't have worked for you just having one academy trained unit. Absolutely not.
And we'll go into that tomorrow for reasons. But yes, so it came off of the back of that. Obviously, I needed Harnessed. Dread Knights were the ones with Harnessed that weren't monsters, as
Raptors,
well. So 2 units, and given, I mean, the Dread Knights on top are pretty good. I think they've got 2 attacks now. Actually,
They do have 2 attacks. Yeah, correct.
I don't know whether they did before. I don't know whether that was
No,
a thing,
they didn't.
But 2 attacks
didn't
on the
before.
top.
Yeah.
And the elves are the good ones, So if I can buff the raptors for essentially free, I know it's not free, but like not needing to cast a spell, free is what I mean by free. But then it can only be a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
interestingly, one thing I noticed about the raptors is they're Res 3 now. They're not Res 4 anymore.
Sure.
Which is very interesting because that makes me panic as a Saurian player.
Oh, well, for sure the raptors won't be Res 4 in Saurians.
They better be. Well, good job the Saurian book isn't for another 20 years.
Yeah.
That's
no,
not
they
official.
can't be.
I don't know.
Surely, can they? That'd be like having an elf at Res 4. Basic.
Well, it would make
thing,
sense that if they've changed raptors into Dread Elf book to Res 3, that the Saurians will eventually go that way as well.
But yeah, so but no, I think they've buffed. I mean, lethal strike is the big thing on the raptors.
Now. Yeah, they've
so it's a give and take thing. Whether or not the res drop is worth it, but it's still 2 up armor. They've got a lot about them. So these guys have lances, and I couldn't fit in standards.
Sure.
Like I could have if I took the harpies out, but I wanted the harpies. Because to go
crazy.
along with they're crazy. They're actually decent as well, but chaff essentially. Right.
Do you want to talk about them or not really?
No. Let's go. But let's carry on the cavalry theme.
Yeah, because we're jumping all over the shot here.
Yeah, with this one. So I'm just basically saying where my thoughts came from the list, basically.
Yeah, you making it with one thing and synergy in mind, don't you?
Yeah. So I've got all that, and then obviously the next thing was to add the characters and make sure they fit because that's the majority of my list. Yeah. So I've got to make sure they've got units to go in.
Absolutely.
So Dread Prince isn't a Beastmaster, so there was the obvious choice for me. Basically a 1-up, 5-up chap with decent movement. Put him on an elven horse rather than a raptor for the better movement, just in case he wants to go solo.
Mm-hmm.
Has that little bit extra. But Battle Infusion, as you know, hasn't changed. Mollieth's Mirror.
You got 3 new special items from the Dread Elf book. That's very nicely done.
Yes. Did I?
Transcendence, Moith's Mirror, and Mask of the Warcrow.
Yeah, so Transcendence is weapon.
Yeah.
It is for a lance, which is why it was an auto pick sort of thing.
Yeah.
And basically gives me +1 strength and AP. So if I do an unsaved wound, it gives me +1 strength and AP for each unsaved wound I do for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Up to a maximum of 2.
Yeah.
So, but that makes my lance guy, who is normally good on the charge, if he does some damage on the charge, it means he's going to constantly be doing damage.
Yeah, because he's already triggered the extra buffs. Yeah.
Yeah, if he finds himself in a grind. So all he has to do is 2 wounds, and he's always going to be Strength 6, AP 3, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
50 points, not too bad. Moith's Mirror. Is basically a talisman of shielding because it gives you Aegis 5-up, but every time you make a save, the enemy takes a Strength 5 AP2 hit, basically.
Yeah.
So it's talisman shielding with a kick. Right?
Yeah. Or a punch.
Or a punch. Or
a stab.
Poke in the eye.
Yeah. A strength 5 poke in the eye.
AP2.
Damn my eye guard.
That's gone straight through my armor. Yes, and the last one, Mask of the Warcrow. So this was a bit of a kind of fluffy thing, and something that will lead into the altar as well. But the bearer's unit gets fear, and any including themselves, any unit that contains 1 or more models with fear must re-roll natural to 1 wound of 1 with close combat. So it makes fear-causing units better, especially with all the +1 to wound stuff and Dread Elf shizzle that they get.
Yeah.
So it's just that extra bit of efficiency.
Mhm.
So ideally, on the charge, they're going to be wounded on 2s, re-rolling 1s, which is very nice. Stop the fluff happen. So
Yeah.
quite cool.
Yeah.
I've got the Legion Legate, which is he's actually got decent a better
Discipline. Yeah, he's a better general than the Dread Prince now.
Yeah, but but in terms of everything else, he's not as good. Hasn't got the
not as killy
offensive skill or the attacks or anything like that. So, basing on that, he does have the academy training rule as well, so that will synergize with the list that we haven't got here. But basing on that in my mind, I see him as like this tanky, disciplined guy. I've basically been able to get a 1-up rerollable on him.
Whereas your Dread Prince is your proper out-and-out killer who can lead the army. The Legion Legate is your stalwart, your real central figure.
Exactly, and I don't say same reasons. Sort of opposite reasons for him why he's got a Raptor. I don't see him leaving a unit because he's not going to go and kill anything on his own. So that's why he's got Raptor.
Yeah.
Still decent, mind. He's still 3 attacks, offensive 6 with the lance. So still going to do some decent stuff. But and then obviously I haven't got any magic, so I need a magic caster. And the best one in terms of getting me the most spells with one choice was the Warlock Outcast, who is.
Oh, I've called it a Warlock Master there. I thought that was wrong when I wrote it.
Oh, that's right. But he is a master. He is a
master. I thought it was weird that he was called Warlock Master and Wizard Master. So I've got it wrong. It's an Outcast.
So for 380 points, he comes as a master as standard.
Yeah.
You can't have him as an adept or anything like that. Cosmology, occultism, witchcraft as a choice as well. So
all the same ones the old book used to have.
Yeah, I went with Cosmo because on the sheer thing that I have only one caster and I wanted as many spells as possible. So
dual casting,
Cosmo is like dual casting thing. So his special rule, which you mentioned earlier,
I teetered on.
Teeted. You teeted on the edge of saying, but teetered.
It might not be a word. Certainly mine are irrelevant.
We both teeted. On was Irresistible Will, which is the casting values of all spells go up by 1.
Oh no, well that's rubbish. Why would you want that? Lucky 6s?
But the dispelling rolls against the spells are -2.
Ah, that's why.
That's why. Which I'm not sure why they just didn't leave it and then have it as -1.
I guess it's trying to, like, if you risk casting the spell with the same amount of dice that you were going to before the +1 required, then the enemy has got even more risk because they're rolling the same amount of dice as they would have done, having a -2 roll instead. So do they throw an extra dice at their dispel if you manage to cast? Yeah,
exactly. So we'll see how that works in practice, but it's quite a cool rule.
Yeah. Well, it's better than saying you have a +4 to your spell casting level, and they have a -5 to their dispelling roll, because then it starts getting silly.
That's agreed. Yeah. So that's quite cool. But other than that, just Binding Scroll and Talisman of the Void to add to the channeling, which again leads me to talk about the Divine Altar. Effigy of Dread. From the Dread Elves.
Makes sense.
So, going back to the Divine Altar, this is the other option, which is free.
Not 70 points.
Not 70 points. Yeah, the argument of whether or not your version is worth 70 points, I'm not sure. But the difference is...
a lot.
My altar, and it is my altar now. Thank you, Niantic. It cannot move
at all. 0.
Advance and march rate 0. Must stay in exactly the same place
when you drop it.
So that's the big drawback to having it, is that you've got 200 points, which isn't that much really.
No.
But stationary stuff, and it cannot move even if it wants to. Like, can't even do the bolt thrower shizzles of moving around. So it's interesting. But the plus side, which has a lot of pluses, channel 3 for 1. which is awesome.
It's great.
Fear and Unbreakable. So Unbreakable's decent. It's got
Yeah.
6 HP and Aegis 5 up, Res
Yeah.
5. So
Yeah.
it's not going down easily.
No, and it won't break. So you've got to kill it.
And you got to kill all 6 wounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the math is on that. But yeah, I think you've got to do 10 wounds to it.
Well, if it's Aegis saving
9, isn't it? 9.
a third of all of them. So yeah.
Yeah, so you got to do 9 wounds at Res 5. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But so Channel 3, Fear and Unbreakable.
Also can't be moved by magical movement. So forget Raven's
Can't be
Wing.
moved by absolutely. It says specifically just you cannot move.
Yeah.
You idiot.
Yeah.
Stop trying to move it. It actually says that.
Yeah.
But in addition, friendly units within 18 of the model inches of the model gain fear, and obviously, if you remember the fear thing that my general has, that will help anything doing that. Enemy units within 18 cannot use rally around the flag for fear tests. So again, it's revolving around fear. If I can get the general using that, then great. It's only in 18 inches, but if you discard,
you can't move it nearer, so place it correctly.
But if you discard a Veil token, you get +3 inches. You can discard 2 Veil tokens, up to 2. Mm-hmm. So potentially get that up to 24 inches if you need to, which is quite a decent way.
Yeah.
As long as you're not fighting in the opponent's deployment zone.
Yeah.
You should be able to use that at some point. So just remember when you're using it, you've got the channel 3, but that's not automatically going on dice. You might want to keep some.
Yes. To boost your range, if you need to. Yeah.
It's why actually, probably synergy-wise, I should have chosen occultism actually, because that would have worked better with the getting extra veil token. Oh no, is that evocation?
No, that's evolution.
I thought they'd put that in there for that reason, but no, fair play. Yeah. I've been saved by my own thought.
Yeah.
Good then. Cool. Interesting. That's very interesting. Can't move. So potentially quite susceptible to being killed off. But it's only 200 points, and it gives a decent buff. So yeah.
I still think my version is too expensive compared to all that.
Yeah. I think 70 points is a lot for what it does, especially as it does give you a minus as well. But make it 30, 40, 50. I'm not sure.
Yeah. We'll have to see. It might come down and down. It might. Your one might go up. But I think they have to choose one or the other, don't they? You can't choose neither.
Yeah, and you have to choose one as well, obviously.
Yeah, you must choose. Yeah. So
one choice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Otherwise, you're just an altar doing nothing, really. So you've got to choose something. Yeah.
So there's that. Then harpies, which I mean, we could go through their cost, but essentially it's chaff. I won't beat around the bush. There's like 2 attacks and whatever.
They are now beasts instead of infantry, which means they've got swift stride in their inherent abilities.
Does that mean that they have stomp?
No, they'd have to be large to have stomp. Standard size don't have stomp.
Fair enough. But that means they can be stomped as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, otherwise they're not too dissimilar.
Maybe beasts can't be stomped. Not sure about that. Yeah.
Not too dissimilar to before.
I was doing well with the first question, but then you forced me on the stomping part.
The fly 10-18 is an interesting thing.
Cool. So they've lost 2 on their march,
which is big, but
yeah.
They're essentially chaff that could kill other chaff, or have a better chance of killing chaff than other chaff. So that's what they're there for. And then we get on to the destroyers category, which I don't know. I quite liked the change to the repeater battery. This is the old elf bolt thrower that's changed from having, you can either do volley fire, which is 6, or whatever it's called, volley shot, whatever.
It's not called that. It's just elven bolt thrower. It used to be.
Well, yeah. So it had the option of having a strength 6 shot or the 6 strength 4 shots. This one is completely different. it's just always 8 shots, strength 5, AP 2. And it can move and shoot.
So you got an extra 5 inches on your shot, basically.
Yeah, obviously you still count as moving and shooting, but yeah, interesting. Still starting on 3s, so you can be either 4s if you don't move, 5s if you do. Range 24, so obviously you've lost the 48 inch. You can't put it right at the back and just sit there all game.
No.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see in the long run whether that's a good change.
The fact that you can move and shoot the 5 inches, and it means you can potentially get round the hill that your enemy's hiding behind.
Sure.
So that's quite cool.
The movement is definitely really helpful, and the fact that you can shoot as well.
And they're all strength 5 now. That's really nice.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see in the long run whether that's good or not. I can't work out. I like it initially, and then I think
they might not hit anymore.
I don't know whether it's lost too much that it. Yeah, it's not an interest. But yeah, I quite liked it anyway.
Yeah.
And then so 2 of them and a hunting chariot, which I don't know. Did that used to fly? I've got a feeling it used to fly, but I might be making that up.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
No, right. Okay. But I wanted a chariot in.
Basically. Have you not mentioned your raptor chariot? You got a chariot?
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
What's
fine.
This?
Well, you went to destroyers, and then you're leaving the raptor chariot for that.
Yeah. So
it makes sense, man.
I didn't have a chariot. I wanted a chariot. I looked at hunting chariot, and then I thought, and I had some points left over for a normal chariot.
So exactly the right amount. They're the same points.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but I wasn't too far off actually. The only thing I had to do was reduce my initial numbers of Dread Knights down. I did have them in bigger units, but only by 7 and 8 and stuff. Whereas
my first list I picked was like 7,000 points. So.
yeah.
Oops.
But yeah, so Raptor Chariot, pretty much just a chariot.
Yeah,
the Raptors. It's still Res 5 though. So that hasn't.
No, it's Res 4.
Oh, it has dropped. Then.
It's Res 4 now. Yeah.
There you go. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad elves don't have Res 5 stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. So no, that's just a chariot really, and then the hunting chariot is stuff that can kill monsters.
Big beasties.
Yeah. So I don't think its role has changed too much. Strength 6, AP 10, multiple.
No.
So
the shooting weapon has changed ever so slightly, but we'll probably talk more about that in the review.
Yeah. So
because it still does the same role, killing the beasties.
So it can move, quick to fire. Looks for killing the beasties. So that's where your bolt thrower is, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Your high strength AP 10 bolt thrower is.
Yeah, you can have 3 of both, and I think if I was looking at it and I wanted to, if I wasn't wanting to have both of those in, I think I'd have 3 hunting chariots. In all honesty,
fair enough. Yeah.
Actually, because of the quick to fire.
Yeah.
Movement 9, quick to fire. I think is quite nice. So, and you're hitting on 3, so you're hitting stuff pretty much always on 4s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, they did. The hunting turret did lose accurate though. So
yes. Yeah.
It used to be accurate. It's not anymore. Cool. So 2 different lists. I hope you enjoyed us talking about them. Honourable mention for the units we didn't pick. But we're not going to talk about them at all in terms of the rules because that will follow. And you'll have already heard from them in other videos, etc. Neither of us picked a silent assassin.
Nope.
So, didn't see that. You'll possibly understand why neither of us fancied that when we talk about the book.
It's just meh.
There's a few mounts we didn't pick, like the dragon, the Pegasus, not there. In terms of the core, we didn't pick the legionaries or the auxiliaries,
which are your academy training.
Yes, exactly.
So obviously we could have had the general as academy training, these guys as academy training. So these lists don't look at academy training, which is in its own right a
whole new list.
Yeah.
We were nearly joined by another person who was also Nemeroth, who was going to give us his thoughts on another list.
Yeah.
And he picked a pure academy training list, so
Yeah,
it shows that it's very viable and worth checking out. We also didn't pick between us the Obsidian Guard, which used to be the old Tower Guard, and they are an academy trained unit, so that makes sense. We didn't bring in our list any Gorgons, which is the old Medusas. Neither of us picked Warlock Acolytes, which is quite surprising for me because I actually used to really like them.
Yeah, and I say with myself with Cavalry, I did actually try and fit them in. And it's just I couldn't not have 2 units of Dread Knights because they're my only scoring.
Absolutely, you've only got 2 scoring. We didn't pick Black Cloaks, which were the old Raven Cloaks. I think we've got everything else. Yeah. Also, honourable mention, there's no such thing as a Dancer of Yemma anymore. That unit is gone from the book. No. Eradicated.
They've kind of been meshed into those wizards that you have, though, in that they have a 4-up Aegis in combat. Maybe.
But yeah. Anywho, we will no doubt mention that a bit more in the book review. So yeah, this has been quite a long list review actually, but that's because obviously it comes before our book review, and we feel like we need to justify why we're picking these options. If we just literally read the list of the units we're taking, it doesn't make that much sense in context. So we have talked a little bit more about why we pick stuff and what they bring to the table. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do join us for our army book review, which will be coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
All being
and
well.
Where you'll steal this in all its glory and written in front of you and be able to process it with us. We can enjoy release day together.
Absolutely, yeah. Can't wait. And we'll definitely follow it up with a Battle and Beer, Civil War, potentially between these 2 lists, but who knows? It could be other lists. I don't know how it's going to work. We won't promise anything at this stage. And maybe more Dread Elf action in the future as well.
Yeah, man.
So let's hope that this new book is a new beginning for the Dread Elves.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so do join us tomorrow or any day after tomorrow when it'll be on our channel, so you can watch it whenever in your leisure. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias, and follow those other guys as well on podcasts and YouTube channels or whatever, or even just on the forum. Give them a check out if you haven't already. There's loads of stuff on the Dread Elves if you're interested, and loads of other stuff anyway. So
and don't forget the background stuff that's to come as well. So that's going to be
absolutely really cool. So check all those other guys out. They do some fantastic content. I know I watch it in my spare time anyway. So definitely. Make sure you do as well. And
but you can't watch a podcast, Lucky Sixes. Don't be silly.
Exactly. And otherwise,
great.
Stay tuned for our Battle and Beer, which is coming soon.
Yeah. If you fancy throwing some lists into the comments or just comments in the comments, then bring it on. We love hearing from you guys. So
absolutely.
Sweet. All right, we'll sign off here and bring it on for the book for more.
Ooh, exciting. See you later.